OmniDog and OmniCat comic book review show. I'm OmniDog, and who are you?
I guess I'm OmniCat.
You are with your flirkin.
Yeah. Which I gotta show off. I got a Nick Fury with Goose Pop recently. He's holding Goose, and it's so cute, and I love it.
That is awesome. Um, so today we're going to be talking about the fact that OmniDog read a manga because
Yeah.
that's right. Kristen got me into a manga, and it was $4 on Amazon. And Kristen said, for $4, how bad could it be? And it was by Junji Ito, who I've read before. That's like the only other mangas I've read. And to build suspense with the audience, we probably shouldn't. It's the other Saturday. Okay. The previous Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, she said it was $4. And let me get my books in order here.
It is still $4 on Amazon, by the way, for people who are interested.
Yeah, and I told Gio that, and he said that I believe a lot of people in the Otaku's classroom or whatever it is, whatever that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. A lot of them are going for it too because it's only $4 and it's digest sized, but it is way disturbing, as all of Ito's stuff is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to talk about my awful book yet. But so I read 4 books in the past couple of days. Do you want to start off talking about something that you read that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I got 5 here, including the one we both read. So I'll start. I read a book called Brik. This is by Oni Press. If you have a local Ollie's near you, you can probably pick this up for $5 there if they have it. That's how I got mine. I like the cover. That was kind of it. I was like, I'm gonna pick this up for $5 for the cover, and I like Oni Press stuff. And I opened it up, and I was like, oh, I like this art. It's pretty unique. It's different. So this story is about a Jewish kid who lives in like a rough neighborhood where he kind of gets beat up a lot. I think he's about 12. And he's dealing with a lot of stuff, just living in that neighborhood and everything he has to deal with day to day. At one point, he's dealing with a lot of issues with school and these kids that are beating him up. So his grandfather tells him a story about when his grandfather was young. He created a golem.
Ooh, I love golem stories.
Yeah. And that kind of solves some of his issues when he was young. So, this kid, Drew, he believes the story, and his mom's like, he's just telling you stuff. It's not real, whatever. Well, Drew kind of went through a tragedy with his family, and it kind of sent him over the edge, and he was like, I want to try this. I want to do this. I want to make my own golem and solve my problems. So that's pretty much what ends up happening. Of course, I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, yeah, the golem's real and he makes a golem. And then, stuff happens with that. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was really cool and different. And one and done, I like that. It's a little trade. The pages are nice and kind of matted. A lot of people don't like that, but I love it. But yeah, that's Brik. I would say check it out, especially if you like golem stories.
I love golem stories. You're really good at picking up the kind of just undiscovered gems like that. That's really good.
I felt like it was definitely one. I was like, why haven't people read this? I got to talk about
it. Larry Robertson.
Oh, no, my dad's here.
Is that your dad?
That's my dad.
Oh, hey, Dad. I don't understand this one. No one ever mentions how YouTube defaults to top chat when it should be live chat.
You can change that at the top. I never actually do that either, so that's kind of weird. I never changed it. Is
that something the user does that, or I have to do that?
It's the user.
Oh,
It does default to top chat, but I never really miss messages that way, so I don't really know what it means. Sorry, Dad.
All right. Well, welcome, Dad. Good to have you.
He usually doesn't watch live, so I was like, what?
All right. Are
Yeah,
you nervous now that your dad's watching?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
He's cool.
He is cool. You raised a cool daughter, Dad. Good job. I like her a lot.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying that because your dad's here.
I think you may be, but it's fine.
I made a show with you, goddammit.
I know, but I made you read a manga, so you may not feel the same about me now.
Hello to Ronald Crumb. Hello to Joe Chip. L. Denver was like the first one in here. So hello to you. Let's tackle a book I'm going to do an overview on because a viewer requested it, but I read it just because and I won't get to the overview for a little bit, but I did read it and I can give you my thoughts. And that is Aliens 3, the unproduced screenplay by William Gibson, the famous author of Neuromancer, which I read back in like 1986. And it's crazy looking back at that book, how looking back at Neuromancer now, it's crazy just how what's the word I'm looking for when you can see far in the future, and visionary. That's what I'm looking for. Visionary. What a visionary he really was. But this is the unproduced screenplay for Alien 3 that's turned into comic book form. So it starts out with the setup is that there are two competing planetary forces, similar to here on Earth. There's like sort of like the Russian interplanetary forces and maybe the capitalist American interplanetary forces. So to start off, the art is really cool. That's the easy part. The art is really cool, and it starts out with a dead or non-responsive capitalist ship transgressing into the communist. I'll just say communist and capitalist to keep it straight. They have names, but I'm not going to remember them. Transgressing momentarily into the communist area, and they board it, and of course it's already full of aliens. And the whole idea is that, I'm going to spoil it for you, is that the capitalists are trying to weaponize these aliens. Now, if I've ever heard a dumber idea, I don't know, but that is the dumbest idea possible. And it docks with a peaceful research station. Eventually, the capitalist ship was on its way to dock with a peaceful research station. Some military types are sent to it to try to get a hold of what has invaded. They want to get a hold of the aliens. Now, and so what happens, of course, alien mayhem happens. And basically the research station is considered the containment field for the aliens. Now, I will say this for the comic book. I'm no expert on movies or television, but I can see why this did not make it as a screenplay, because first of all, Ripley in this only has about 3 panels. You can't really make an aliens movie or an alien movie without Ripley, in my opinion. Ripley's like the heart and soul of the alien movies. And Newt is in this, but only for like 7 or 8 panels. And it's a very static environment where almost everything takes place on this research station. So as a screenplay, I can see why it wasn't accepted. I hardly any Newt, no Ripley, very static. The environment doesn't change. So I don't think it really would have worked as a screenplay. I can see that in my unexpert, non-expert opinion. But as a comic book, it worked really well. It was very exciting. There were all kinds of complications between the communists and capitalists. There is an android that's put back together that the communists have that was aboard the capitalist spaceship. They take him, they download his memories of what's happened. So now they know that the capitalists are trying to weaponize the aliens. I don't want to go any further than that because it would be to spoil it. But it's a very solid read as a comic book. I don't see how it would have worked out, quite frankly, as a movie. But it's a solid comic book, which I really liked. And I'm going to do an overview and a review of it. The other thing is, as a movie, there's a boatload of characters in this, and I think it would have been confusing to the viewer. As a comic book reader, I did have to read it twice so I could keep track of all the characters. It got easier as the book went along because the characters get picked off one by one because it's an alien book. So it has a lot of excitement and action and alien excuse me, has a lot of aliens in it. I don't see ever how you could weaponize an alien. That is the dumbest idea. I do a show, a horror movie show with Jenny on Saturdays, where I said today, basically horror movies are based on bad choices by people. Don't go in the attic, don't go down to the basement, never answer the phone. Don't look around in your house in the dark when there's light switches all over the place. Don't try and weaponize an alien. That is just a crazy idea. So, yeah, Gabriel, that is true. The first Alien movie was pretty much all in a single ship, and it did pretty well. It did do pretty well, but I think the issue was there was no Ripley in it. And I think that was probably what the real problem was. That is true. That's a good point. The first Alien was all on that one ship. That's a really good point. But I'm not here to judge it as a screenplay, but I think the lack of Ripley is probably what the issue was. But who the heck knows? I don't even remember when Alien 3 came out, like 1990, or I can't even remember when it came out. So, OmniDog, here's a good question. OmniDog, did you like it more or less than Dead Orbit? I think I liked it more than Dead Orbit. I just gave away Dead Orbit, and I'm going to keep this. I felt the art in Dead Orbit didn't really work for me. I love James Stokoe, but I have to agree with Riley on this, that I thought the writing was really good, but his art sort of took me out of the book. His art was a little cartoony for Dead Orbit, but that's just me. And so I liked Alien 3. I highly recommend reading it. It's a good story. It's got a lot of subplots. It's got a lot of things undergoing, a lot of conspiracy stuff going on underneath, of course. A lot of higher echelon stupid decisions that affect all the lower people. And I do recommend Alien 3 by William Gibson, the visionary writer.
Nice.
Yes.
I feel like I'm going to have to get that for my dad now.
Well, he says he loves Gibson.
He does, yeah.
Joe Chip, were you the one that asked me to do the overview of Alien 3? And do you still want an overview and review of it, or is this enough for you? Hurry up!
He left.
Goodbye, Joe. Okay. What other, do we want to wait and see if Joe actually answers?
He said this is enough for me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I don't see
yes,
it.
that was me. This is enough for me.
This is enough for me. This is enough for me. Okay.
All right.
Good. All right.
Well, I read another weird one. It is called Odd Schnozz and the Odd Squad.
You're the best.
This is also an Oni Press book. I feel like people don't read their books enough, so I'm going to talk about them. Also, look at this cover. That's a great cover.
That is a great cover.
It's like an ape outline and a band, and it is about a band. That's the name of the band, Odd Schnozz and the Odd Squad. I really enjoy the art. And there's a lot of craziness happening. So it is about this young band, and they're in high school. And as you can see, there's like a chimpanzee and a scientist. And of course, there's like a secret society. And things start happening.
Can the chimp talk?
Of course, because he has the brain of a human.
Cool.
And there's a lot of humanoid like animals that they're like humans. Some of them against their will were like put into animals, their brains, and there's a whole secret society and like a mad scientist, and they all kind of like, you know, it all deals with this young band. So there's a weird connection with the young band. Odd Schnozz is this main girl, and she's called Odd Schnozz because her nose has powers.
Her nose has powers?
Like, she'll get feelings in her nose and know that something bad's kind of going to happen. Kind of like a spidey sense, but like in her nose. And every member of the band has something kind of weird going on. So like, this is the guitarist. That's his brother. His brother found this weird cheetah cyborg thing, and you see his brain. So he can talk, of course. And I love this guy, so he's great. But there's all this craziness going on against secret societies, and they end up having to solve this kind of big mystery, and it's hard to describe it without going into spoilers, but as you can see, it's pretty action-packed. If you like music, you're going to enjoy this because it's about a band, but also if you like craziness again with like humanoid animals with like human brains and weird experiments going on, and yeah, I really loved it. It was like nonstop action-packed. The characters were super fun. Really enjoyed the art. I just found it so unique, and I really loved it.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I don't know what else to say other than there's nonstop action, nonstop nonsense. It was so fun, and it's totally worth a read, and more people need to talk about it.
Odd Schnozz.
And the Odd Squad.
And the Odd Squad. That is awesome.
Yeah. Super
cool. Wait, actually, I want to write that one down. Where did you pick that up?
I think someone gave it to me. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while. So, okay. Yeah.
I can genuinely say that has not been sitting on my shelf for a while.
I was like, oh, yeah, I need to read that. And it's pretty, again, one and done. That's what I want to read and talk about.
And here's one of my buddies, Champion Puffa. What's up, Puff? Thanks for tuning in. Oh, okay. I'll show this. T-Lar Blunt says OmniDog has a great shirt. Thank you, T-Lar. But not as good as OmniCat.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. We
Thanks,
both
Tyler.
get compliments. I don't know. Should I get into my horrifyingly bad book or save that for the end?
Oh, I kind of want to know about it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, people were asking if you're going to pour root beer on it. I feel like you're not.
Not today.
Not today. Okay.
That's in a future episode. It's getting reviewed next Saturday. on Batter Days in the Batcave by Taylor Brown and myself. I'm not going to do it then, but I owe it to Taylor to do it in a future Bat episode. And it's aptly named
Oh, I see
Batman
it now.
Damned, because I'll be goddamned if I ever read this thing again. And it's a damn shame this book was ever written. And it's a damn shame because it's a beautiful
I love that. I love how that's packaged.
Oh, it's a gorgeous book.
Wow.
The art, let me just tell you, the art is fantastic. The art is absolutely gorgeous. The hardcover is beautiful. I mean, look at this art.
And I love that bigger trim size. I know people probably hated it when it came out, but I love it.
And no, it has nothing to do with the Batwang. I don't care about that. That's stupid. It shouldn't have been in there in the first place. Whoever bought the book for that is, I don't care about that. That is dumb. I'm just showing you the art here before I get into my criticism of it. Because the art is fantastic. If you like Lee Bermejo art and you have $30 to waste on it, go ahead.
Good thing you didn't buy it retail, right?
True. I bought it from IST. Nothing against IST. I don't know if it was 50% off or 42% off or whatever. I guess this is a journey. Well, the back says the Joker's dead, and John Constantine, Batman can't remember if he kills Joker or not. John Constantine is supposed to help him try and piece it together. They're going to delve into the sordid underbelly of Gotham as they race toward the mind-bending truth of who murdered the Joker. That sounds good. We open with Batman bleeding out in an ambulance. He escapes from the ambulance, and all of a sudden he runs into John Constantine, and nothing makes sense from then on. I get that this is supposed to be a metaphor for the search for Batman's soul. I get that this is supposed to be a journey into the fact that maybe, in fact, Batman did kill the Joker and he regrets it. And Constantine is helping him put the pieces together. But this is told in such an incomprehensible, incoherent, ridiculous manner. And it really frosts my cookies because I like Brian Azzarello. He wrote one of the best Batman stories ever. The Flashpoint Batman story, I think, was brilliant. It's a follow-up to the Joker, El Joe Chip. It's a Joker sequel, apparently, which nobody told me, and I don't care right now. It is so poorly written, so poorly conceived. Let me think of all the DC dark characters that are jammed into this who serve zero purpose whatsoever. Deadman serves no purpose. Spectre, we had to Wikipedia who he was, or Taylor did. And anytime you have to Wikipedia a book, I swore I wasn't going to Wikipedia this to find out what it all meant, because
you shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to. It should be I understand that comic books that are well written can have some places in them where the reader fills the hole with their imagination and follows along the story. I'm not asking to be spoon-fed. I'm not asking to have my hand held. That's fine. Grant Morrison's a perfect example of you need to figure it out for yourself. This has gaping plot holes. This has gaping, ridiculous amounts of story that are just chunks left out of it. In the second issue, he's about to be sexually assaulted by a demented Harley Quinn who's trying to sexually assault Batman. He chokes her dead. And in the beginning of issue 3, he wakes up in a coffin. How did we get there? And Swamp Thing is in there, and in the cemetery, and gets him out of the coffin with his Swamp Thing roots. And John Constantine's there, gurgling up some kind of nonsense. We got the Enchantress, who we see in flashbacks to his childhood. I get this is some kind of Elseworld story, because the Enchantress goes back and Bruce Wayne is killed in the alley too. And the Enchantress, by the end of the story, the Enchantress is all dissolved and mummified and grants Bruce life if he's an avenging angel. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Like I said, Deadman is tried to shoehorn in. Etrigan the Demon is a rapper and serves no purpose in this book. He doesn't push any of these characters could have pushed the book forward, and none of them do. Zatanna doesn't push it forward. Who the hell else is in this book? What dark character haven't I named? And Thomas Wayne is a cheating bastard on his wife in the past. Okay. Who else is in the dark? I'm trying to think of what other. I think I've named all the dark characters. None of them push the book forward. None of them serve any purpose whatsoever. If this is a metaphor for a journey through Batman's soul, it is super poorly told, and I hated every minute of it. And it's an hour of my life. At this point in my life, hours are important. And it's an hour of my life I'll never get back, and I hated every minute of it. It was awful.
That is a major bummer. That sounds crazy.
I don't know.
The stuff with Harley, I didn't know any of that. That's awful.
I'm at a loss.
You just don't even know. Yeah.
No, I don't even know. I guess that's part of the dream sequence, or the part. First of all, he's bleeding out, and then he's okay. So I guess that's his soul searching for meaning and everything. But we never get resolution of how he recovers. Somehow his soul recovers at the end thanks to Spectre, but where's bleeding out Batman that was so bad he was in an ambulance? How does that happen? Holy guacamole. This thing was just it was a mess. It was a garbled mess that made me really mad.
You know, you saved me an hour of my life. And I think an hour matters to everyone, right? We could be doing other things, reading other books. I thought about reading that. I don't want to now.
Well, the way Harley and Zatanna are portrayed, Faria would be outraged at it. And I think you would be true. You would be too. They are nothing but eye candy, meaningless. Their roles are meaningless in this book. They don't. Nobody serves to push. Even John Constantine doesn't serve to push the story forward. Spectre kind of pushes the story forward, but none of it makes any sense.
That doesn't sound like I want it at all. It's not for me.
No, I don't. Oh no, I don't think it's for you at all. I just, that portrayal of Harley Quinn was tone deaf. His Constantine was awful. His Swamp Thing was pretty spot on, but everybody else was like somebody that had never written comics before had tried to write the character. His characters were absolutely not what they should have been. It was just wow. And Taylor said we immediately read different books. We were texting each other throughout it. We read it at the same time. And he read Detective Mythology and said, oh my gosh, this was such a good book. I needed a palate cleanser. And I read the next book I'll show you is my palate cleanser after you're done. But it was really aggravating because I I am very positive about comics. I want to have fun reading comics. That's why they're there. They're an escape. I want to have fun, right? That's why we do this show. We like comic books and we think they're fun.
We want to enjoy our life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I'm positive on comic books. Even a mediocre comic book, I'll say it was okay. It wasn't my cup of tea, but it was okay. But to just assault me with this was just this was Batman Damned, Bob Brown. Don't get it.
El Denver was saying he already bought it, so he's going to read it, and it sounds like he needs to get the Schnozz book on hand as a palate cleanser. That sounds like a great idea. This would be a great palate cleanser to that. If you have to read it, you should read this after.
Yeah, I think I want to read that because this has affected my week.
That's so sad. I'm so sorry.
Don't let this happen to you.
I sure won't. I can move on to something like completely different. How about that?
Oh, please do.
All right. Now, I think this one isn't for everyone, but it would be a good palate cleanser to something so dark because this is so fluffy and light. It's called Pumpkinheads. It recently came out. I believe, who put this out? I want to say it's First Second, but is it? Yep, it is. Okay, so the First Second put this out. Rainbow Rowell wrote it, who I adore, and Faith Erin Hicks did the art. And I love her art too. So this is about two best friends. It's their last year. I think they worked like all throughout high school at this pumpkin patch. So it's one of these huge pumpkin patches with like, the corn mazes and there's like, popcorn vendors. And it's like a huge kind of festival thing that happens every year in this town. So this all happens. It's also that through one night. It's their last night of working, where they're best friends. So she tries to get her best friend to finally talk to this girl that he's had a crush on. So like I said, it's very fluffy. It's not for everyone, but I really loved it. I read it after something that was pretty dark. I think I read it after that Ito book. So I was like, I need something else. I need something light and fun. And this is exactly what it was. It was so fun. It was like silly. It was really funny in moments. There were really good jokes throughout it. Rainbow Rowell's a great writer. She's currently writing The New Runaways, which I haven't read, but I've read her other stuff.
I've heard that that's a really good book.
Yeah, that's what people have been saying. So, but yeah, it's all set throughout one night, and that's what happens with these two. And she's like, "You got to talk to this girl," and he's like, "I don't want to." And they just have a great dynamic, and it's really fun. And again, all set throughout one night. There are really fun moments, and it helps you like get in the mood for fall. That's how I felt. I was like, this is such a nice fall book, because there's candy apples and pumpkins everywhere, and I love the art. It's so fun. So it's a great, quick palate cleanser for bad things that you read. So I'd recommend it if you want something light and fluffy and just kind of cute.
Pumpkinheads. I like the sound of it. Jeff T has a very good question because this is the bad book to which we measure all other bad books. Is it as bad as Batman Odyssey by Neil Adams? It is worse. I will say that.
I like that angry cat avatar.
It is worse than Batman Odyssey.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
For you especially. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated Batman Odyssey, but I think Neil Adams tried. I don't know how many rewrites Brian Azzarello went through, Damned, but fuck it. I can't deal with it. Okay, let's talk about my palate cleansers with a book that is close to my heart. Let me get the book that I read right before it because it only comes out once a year. It's serialized. If you happen to speak French, you've already probably read the whole series, and that is Castle in the Stars. Cult film video. Yeah, don't buy Odyssey. Worse than Kevin Smith Batman. This is like a rogues gallery of root beer books everybody's bringing up. Yeah, I think it's worse than Kevin Smith Batman.
Wow.
Yeah. Joe Chip. Kristen, can you repeat the name of the comic you just reviewed, please?
Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell.
That book sounds fun.
It's very fun.
Castle in the Stars is a French book that comes out every September, so you have to wait. This is volume 2, which I pulled out to read because it was last September that I read it, and this is volume 3 that I read this September, like Wednesday. Volume 1 I read in 1917, and volume 4 I will read next year. But in France, they're already out. So if you're lucky enough to live in Canada and speak French, or live in France and speak French, you already know the beauty of these books. The art is top notch. Let's just get through that. The art is absolutely gorgeous. It's written by, I'm sure I'm going to botch his name, Alex Alice. It's spelled Alice, but it's French, so I'm sure like 5 of the letters in his last name aren't pronounced, so it's probably Alex Ale. He writes and draws it, and the art is immaculately beautiful. And it is about, what if the space race didn't start what if man didn't land on the moon in 1969, but if he did in 1869? And this is about the discovery of this is obviously, a flight of fantasy. And in book 1, they discover a substance called aether, which helps propel them to the moon and back, or that happens in this volume, The Moon King. In the first one, they travel to space. In the second one, they go to the moon, these children and their professor father, and in the third, and discover the king that has been missing. The Prussians are the bad guys, and the king of France, I guess. Yeah, this is book 2, is actually on the moon. And in these books, the moon and Mars and stuff all have breathable atmospheres to some extent. And so you just have to go with it. The story is brilliant and fun and funny and dangerous. And in this book, they're trying to get to Mars because the Prussians want to control space as a military asset. And the Prussians are out to colonize Mars and Venus and the moon by stealing the plans that the children and the professor have. These are all brilliant children, and they don't want the Prussians to get there, obviously. And it deals with a lot of daring adventure, a lot of evil doing, a lot of beautiful art, flights of fancy, and excitement as they race to get to Mars, because the king, the Moon King, has decided to go to Mars as his next venture, and they want to find him there. They want to find him there because he will have established that he was there before the Prussians were and claim it for France. These books are from First Second. They're only $20, and they are extremely well put together hardcovers that are oversized and just absolutely gorgeous, super fun, super exciting, really well written. I cannot emphasize enough how much fun they are. These are so far my books of the year. They are. I got to get these in my Goodreads program because I just read them.
Yeah, you do. Give them 5 stars.
I will. I cannot emphasize enough how much I loved this book and these books. They are so well written and so well drawn. This guy is super talented, and as far as I can tell, the translation is perfect. They are wonderful. Castle in the Stars. These are books that you should get. This is what comic books are all about: fun, adventure, excitement, and I'll dare say as good as Jules Verne. And if anybody doesn't know who Jules Verne is, I'm going to come through this camera feed and punch you in the nose. But that's the kind of stuff it is. It's that excitement fantasy that Jules Verne used to write about. And it's just exquisitely written and exciting and a barrel of fun.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah, they really are. These, I think you would love these, Kristen.
I've been meaning to get them for a while because I know you've been hyping them up. So I'm going to have to add that to my list. Yeah,
they're not expensive, and they're worth every penny. They are just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm so absolutely, your pronunciation was right the first time. Alex Elise. Okay, good. Yeah, so I highly, highly, highly recommend these books.
Awesome.
1, 2, and 3. I know they're listed on IST, but I just got them from Amazon because I couldn't wait.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned they're in your books of the year, right? Or the last one, right?
So far, yeah, I love it.
Well, my next one is also one of my favorite reads of the year so far. It is Tillie Walden's new book, Are You Listening? And I adore Tillie Walden. Also, I want to say, if you get this book, just feel it. Like, it's just so soft. I can't describe it. It's so nice. Anyway, her art is amazing. Her writing is amazing. And I loved this book so much. It's one of my favorites of hers I've read. I've loved everything she's put out. And it's definitely one of my favorite reads of the year. So this story is about an 18-year-old girl who runs away. You don't get to know why yet, but she runs away and she runs into this mechanic lady who had worked on her mother's car once, and that's how she knew her. She ran into her at like a gas station, and she kind of bummed a ride. So the lady offered her a ride, and she was like, yeah, okay. So the rest of the story pretty much takes place on this road trip, and you think it's just going to be a regular road trip book with gorgeous art. Look at this art. It's amazing. So, they're on a road trip. She was driving away from that town, and the other girl ran away, and there's a lot of talking to each other, and you get to know these characters. And again, you think it's just a regular road trip story, and then stuff gets real weird. Weird things keep happening. And I hate to even mention what kind of weird things because I don't want to give it away, but there's definitely magical and kind of creepy elements that start happening. Like, I will say, maybe I can get to I'm going to show some more of this art. But there's a moment where they're going over a bridge. I don't know if I can find it. I can't. But anyway, they're driving over a bridge, and then suddenly the bridge starts to fall apart. So they make it over, and it's fine, and then more roads appear out of nowhere, and there's this magical, creepy road situation. They're being followed by these two. Are they men or are they something else? Like, there's a lot of, again, creepy, magical elements, and it is just.
Oh, what's the name of this again?
It blew me away. It's Are You Listening by Tillie Walden. Are You Listening? I've loved everything she's put out, and this was just, it's so hard to describe. I think she even tweeted like, hi, I'm not going to tell you anything about this book. Just, if you want to read it, cool. Because you think it's one thing, and then all this weird, magical, creepy stuff starts happening, and it blew me away. I've never read anything like this. I hate to even tell you what I've told you because I want you to go into it blind, but I think that's all you need. You just need to know that there's gorgeous art, amazing writing. You think it's one thing, it turns into another thing, and it blew me away. I love
Wow, this. I am sold.
I think you will enjoy this. This will give you a nice ride. And hey, nice palate cleanser if you read something horrible, because it's gonna make you be like, whoa, what is happening? This is fantastic.
Okay,
Are you listening?
Sounds great.
It's worth every penny.
And that looks like a book that who publishes it?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. It is First Second. I was gonna guess First Second because I keep doing that. I've loved so many things they put out this year.
Yeah.
First Second book.
That sounds wonderful. I want to read that.
I think you would enjoy it.
I read too many superhero things. I need to read some Kristen stuff.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. I read too many crappy superhero things. So do you want it? You have one more book before our manga?
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay,
that was my 4, and this is the 5th. Yeah.
Okay, and so now we have our manga that Jess has read a manga. Wait, which is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dissolving Classroom by Junji Ito.
See all these melting people.
Melting people are dissolving. And Kristen recommended it to me because it was $4 on Amazon. And I
$4, and you'd read some Ito books. So I was like, hey, I don't know if you're interested. I'm going to get this.
And we said we'd review it together.
Yep.
And so $4 got Jess to read a manga. I can't pass up $4.
And it was short.
Oh, I know. It took me like half an hour to read. I can see how manga readers like to read manga or can read so much manga if this is the style it is in, because I blaze through this.
I'd say it varies on writer, but yeah, a lot of it is very fast paced.
Yeah. So Dissolving I don't even know how to describe it. You've got this guy who's always apologizing and his creepy sister who's like straight from hell.
Mm-hmm.
And
you want me to jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So yeah, we follow that guy who's always apologizing and his creepy sister. Mostly he's apologizing for creepy things she's done. So but he
starts out in the book introduced to his classroom and he immediately starts apologizing. All he ever does is apologize.
And they're like, why are you apologizing? Like, you didn't do anything. So here's the creepy sister with the snake around her head. But yeah, that's his thing. He keeps apologizing for like everything, especially attacks that she would like, creep out people, and he would apologize for that. And you soon realize, do we want to give away why he's apologizing? Like, what that's about?
Yeah, we're reviewing the book, so I think we should.
Well, he apologizes so much that he makes people melt. So here they are, or like dissolve, I suppose. So what I really enjoyed about it is you got to like, there were page breaks of different stories with these two, right? So it starts with Dissolving Classroom, where he pretty much makes his whole classroom dissolve because he apologized so much. And then he goes to Dissolving Beauty.
Does it say in the first book what
his deal?
What his deal is? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Did it? I think the sister mentioned. Yeah, he's apologizing to Satan, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
like,
he was trying to summon the devil up on the hills outside of town.
There he is doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his dead parents' heads in a case back home.
As you do.
Yeah, sure. Like there's something wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Here's their dead parents' heads because he dissolved them. But he has to keep them for some reason. I forget why, but he keeps his dead parents' heads in the in a creepy cabinet. And he
it's all so creepy and horrific. And you again follow them kind of from story to story, which I thought was kind of cool.
I thought it was cool too,
because there is an ending, but it's like they move towns and they start being creepy to different people.
Yeah. Is this Dissolving Beauty?
That one's back here a bit. Yeah, that one was interesting because the boy basically, keeps telling this girl how beautiful she is and that he's dating, I guess. And he's like, "You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful." And then she just gets more horrific looking. Where is she at? I lost her. Here she is. So she keeps looking in the mirror like, "Am I?" He keeps saying I am, but I kind of look weird. Like, so her eyes start getting a little horrific looking. And then, of course, eventually she looks like this.
That's like something out of Mad Magazine, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Or EC Comics.
It's pretty bad. And then he's still like, trying to summon the devil or whatever he's doing. And it's just so creepy, guys. It's real creepy.
Yeah.
And you go through these different stories with these two siblings, and eventually they kind of get caught. They're like, "Hey, you're the problem. You're what's been happening to everybody." And then, of course, he apologizes on a mass level, and you're like, "Oh no, all these people are going to die now." Like,
he moves into an apartment and dissolves all these people in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And then a reporter kind of twigs to the fact that, Chizumi in love, that was creepy. Where she falls in love with some boy. Chizumi is this creepy sister.
That little kid, yeah. That poor kid.
I know.
This guy. Yeah, so they kidnapped this kid because she has a crush on him.
And they've kept
this is all the people they've like dissolved and they've kept in bottles, and they
almost threw up.
Spilling out. It's gross. It's real gross. Yeah, Interview with the Devil. Yeah, that reporter comes and you get to see the girl from like the beginning come back, which is interesting. So she like survived. So I loved how they were all connected, because that doesn't, like, you don't usually get that, where you go from like people to people in different. So it's kind of like little short stories with the same characters, and the other ones kind of come back sometimes. The ones that they didn't kill.
Right. Yeah, it was extremely disturbing, extremely creepy. What else? Extremely gross, gross but extremely inventive. I mean, to have a mind like that, where you can, think like that, I will give him credit, because as disturbing as it is, those were wildly inventive tales to tell. And I've read Ito before, so I knew that it was going to get weird. It did hit some gross points where I felt physically ill. But that's kind of the power of the writer, where he can
make you just look at something and feel like that.
Yeah. Where you can look at something and think that it's the essence of the people, and you're like, whoa. And I mean, to pull up that emotion, that's pretty powerful writing, I think. So as an overall score, I mean, I have to give it like an A, because it pulled up a lot of emotions for me. None of them were happy, but but I mean, it pulled at my emotions, and that's what a really good writer does. And he's quite a good artist too.
Yeah, definitely.
He can draw gross stuff. He can draw pretty stuff. His women were very pretty before he drew them very ugly.
And his backgrounds are amazing too. Like, that background work is super detailed and beautiful, really.
Yeah.
Which is a nice contrast to his horrific, characters.
Yeah.
And it kept me super interested. Like, I'm not even like the biggest horror fan, really, but I was so interested in this whole thing because he has compelling characters, even though they're horrific. And the story, like you said, it's unique, it's innovative. You're not going to read anything else like this. You're just not.
Yeah, no. The other Ito book I read was Spiral, and that was really good.
Uzumaki, yeah.
Uzumaki, right, I'm sorry. Uzumaki. And I have Shiver, and I can't see it from here. Shiver and one other book that I think I'm going to read in October, along with Nailbiter, and that should probably be enough to disturb my sleep.
That's a good idea. I think I'm missing some of his books, so I'm gonna have to get some and do the October thing too.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I read a manga for $4, so find me some more $4 manga.
You got it. I'm on it.
You're on a mission, huh?
I'm on a mission, and guys, like we said, it is still $4 on Amazon, so it's worth it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Now the problem is, I don't want people to start recommending manga to me because I have a whole room full of. My whole room is basically my backlog of Western comics. I just can't afford it yet. I don't have the time nor the space to get into manga. So, I mean...
Well, with these little standalones, that's not too bad.
Yeah. I can see myself in a few years getting into manga, but I just have to make a dent somehow. I mean, I'm staring at a whole Kallax full of Marvel Omnis that I haven't even made a dent in. Well, I made a bit of a dent, but I just can't. I can't get into manga.
It's so much out there.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, I've seen Riley's closet of manga. It's like 400 books, and I'm like, oh god.
I mean, that's obscene. I just pick and choose. I don't have a crazy amount.
Yeah. Freddie Alonso, I do want to get that book. I heard him on the Howard Stern show. This is...
Yeah, I want to read that too. It looks great.
I'm sure that is a really powerful book. George Takei's book, They Called Us the Enemy, especially in these times. I definitely want to read that. Thank you, Stanley. Love the shirt, Jess. My buddy Ryan, thank you. Yeah, so I definitely want to read that George Takei book. That is definitely a book I want to get because I did hear him on Howard Stern talking about it, and I think it's an important book to read. Because it can't happen here, because it has happened here. Do we have any questions from the audience for my co-host or myself, or is that pretty much it? Questions? We'll give you 30 seconds to come up with the questions because it'll be dead air while we're waiting for questions. Yeah. And everybody knows I have a poor sense of time because I'm already ready to call it.
You're like, it's been 30.
Yeah, it's been 30. After it's been about 7.
There you go. There's a question.
Oh, there is? It's not up on my screen yet.
Why am I seeing things before you?
Because I think you're on YouTube and I'm just on the... I don't have YouTube up.
Gotcha.
I don't have YouTube up. I just have it in the live stream. What is the question?
Best Batman graphic novel.
Best Batman graphic novel. I don't know. I still think Dark Knight Returns is the best. I just reread it the other day. But for something newer, there's the... Oh, shoot. Those are out of print. A lot of them are out of print. Those Dini books are great for Batman. What's something in print that's good? Well, Batman Year One, of course, is great. Batman Snow, which is out of print but is in the J.H. Williams collection of Tales of the Batman. That's a good book.
I read Batman White Knight a few months ago. I liked that.
White Knight. I think Batman Heart of Hush is by Dini and is still in print. I think. Not sure about that one. Upcoming is going to be the Batman Black and White Omnibus. That's going to be good because I liked Batman Black and White. The Catwoman books by Brubaker were good. Batman Snyder. I like that. Dark Knight, a true Batman story by Paul Dini. That's pretty good. That's not really about Batman. Batgirl Year One. Batman Prey, that's out of print. But wait a second. I think that might be getting reprinted though. I'm just trying to crane my neck looking at all my Batman books. Batman New Gotham by Rucka. Those 2 books are great. Batman by Ed Brubaker. Those 2 books are great. I think I've given you something to chew on. Oh, Black Mirror is fantastic. That's true. Dang, are you listening? Doesn't seem to be on IST. Yeah, I don't know about first, second books on IST.
They seem to be hit or miss because Freddie's also saying Pumpkinheads is on there. So I'm like,
oh,
that also recently came out. So
Pumpkinheads. I have not seen It Chapter 2 yet. It's gotten really mixed reviews, and I loved It Chapter 1. So I don't know that I want to be brought down. I'm going to wait to see what Lou Rodrigue thinks of it. I'll have to ask him. Best Darkhawk graphic novel. Get off of my chat. When is your Batman Damned video coming? Next Saturday. Legion of Superheroes Silver Age Volume 3 was announced. I am very happy about that. Omni Puppet, right here. That's right, Matthew. The Collector, who was nice enough, and I'm going to give you a shout out on Omni Bros. He got me Emma Frost as a gift, which is impossible to find at Walgreens. Shout out to The Collector. I will announce it from the rooftops on Omni Bros.
Nice.
That is a huge get for me. Thank you, The Collector. As the bet, when we do our fundraiser for comic books for kids, I have to dress up in drag and read and review a Darkhawk collection. That's if we hit our goal.
Nice.
But we're waiting. Comic Books for Kids has something special they're doing, and they wanted us to wait. So we haven't actually announced it yet. But I have to give my review dressed in drag as one of my favorite superheroines. And I better get on it ordering that soon, because we're only going to be doing that for like four weeks for the fundraiser.
Yeah, you got to get your wig.
I'm going to shave my beard. I'll promise you that.
Wow.
Can't have lipstick and rouge on with a beard.
I mean, you can.
You can, but I think it'd be better to. OmniDog, have you heard of The Third Testament? It's the first comic Alex Elise worked on. Not sure it's available in English. Well, let's see. Amazon. Amazon. The Third Testament. The Third Testament. Third Testament. Oh, I better narrow that down. Alex Elise. The Lion Awakes. It looks like it's a series. The Might of an Ox, The Day of the Raven, The Angel's Face. It looks like it's a bunch of novels. Am I getting that right? It looks like it's several novels. Oh, well, thank you, Stanley. I'm glad to hear your mom's doing well. That's really good to hear your mom's doing well. I'm sorry we don't live closer. I'd visit you all the time. Although you'd crush me in video games, I'm sure. Oh, it's a series, but it's a comic book. Okay, well, it looks like it's available. A monastery is burned to the ground, every monk within killed. Now falls to Conrad of Marburg, a disgraced inquisitor, to discover the motive for this heinous crime and make sure that those responsible are punished. But his journey into darkness is only beginning. So are you recommending that to me? Because I'm in a buying mood. Well, let's see.
They're already in your cart, right?
Let's see. I can look inside. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's in English. Guilty. Yeah, it's in English. It's in English. Are you recommending it, Joe Chip? Because it's not like I don't have enough books to read. It looks like I might need to get it on my... No, I am talking about the Third Testament. Yeah, I am talking about the Third Testament. Is it good? That's a different book I'm looking at? It's written by Alex Elise. You and I should have a talk offline. Because it's written by Alex Elise and it's drawn by Xavier Dorison. The Third Testament, Volume 1, The Lion Awakes. Oh, it's only $3.80 new.
Oh, wow. You have to buy that.
Yeah.
You're all about $4 books.
I am all about that $4 book. That's the one. Okay. Yes, that's the one. Okay. Well, it looks like it's a series here in America. Xavier Dorison is the co-writer. Okay. Well, $4. I don't see how I can go wrong.
You have to. That's the rules.
My copy of Castle in the Stars, Volume 3, came in today, along with I Hate Fairyland. That is a good haul, D.H. McAdams. D.H. McAdams, let's give a shout out to him because he does the Lord's work when it comes to rescuing dogs.
Aww.
He is a superhuman dog rescuer.
Nice. That's the best.
I mean, like 40 or 50 dogs he rescues.
It's amazing.
He has a whole dog ranch. They have the sweetest faces, and he sends me pictures of them all the time. He is a saint, D.H. McAdams. You can deny it, but I'm telling you, you are a saint. You are doing the Lord's work on here.
Yeah, that's amazing.
New weekly show, $4 books. It's a series in France too. Okay, I will. I'll get the first book, and if I dig it, I'll get the series. I mean, how could I not dig it if it's Alex Elise? I'm only up to T2 Fallen saying that book is in English. Are there other questions?
Nope. There's people talking. No question.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that pretty much okay. What show would you like to plug? You're doing so many different shows.
Yeah. Well, we're coming out with something on the Fangirls Assembled channel Wednesday. So check out that channel. We're talking about some single issues right now. It's weird, but hey, you may be into it.
You guys are into the single issue pickups now, huh?
Just a little bit. Like we reviewed, you can check out Kanto on there right now. That's an amazing IDW series. I think you're going to really love it, Jess. So if you want to know what's going to come out in trade later, if you are trade waiting, you can check that out. We show you some interiors. We gush over it because it's so good. And Once in Future is also something we've been reviewing, which is also great. Karen Gillan. It's got a lot of hype behind it right now, so you can check those out at the Fangirls Assemble channel. We're doing stuff.
We're doing stuff.
Doing things.
And you can check me out on OmniDog's Vault, this channel, and on OmniDogs_Vault on Instagram, which I have neglected, but I'm going to get back to it because I have a ton of stuff on my phone that I've just been too lazy to post. That's really the issue, because it takes like 30 seconds of my time, and that's how lazy I am. I just don't even have 30 seconds of my time to
You're too busy reading amazing books like Batman Damned, right? Like
God, I could have posted 9 million things on Instagram instead of reading that book. Holy guacamole.
El Denver just checked their Barnes & Noble, and they have Are You Listening? Guys, I'm telling you, if I'm going to pick one out of all of these, it's Are You Listening? I want more people to read this. It was so good.
Done. Did we decide it was on IST or it wasn't on IST?
Apparently it wasn't. I think Freddie checked. It's not. I don't know why.
Well,
I'll
order it with the Alex Elise book from Amazon. Okay, great. Well, for Kristen and myself, thank you, Kristen, for being part of this broadcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone in the chat.
If you missed any of the rants and raves, you can go back to the beginning and listen, because we raved and we ranted. I ranted. Kristen raved.
That's all right.
She had nothing but raves this week. I had a rant. And I do still have to watch Batman the Animated Series, which I'm happy to do. That's going to be great. So thank you to all our viewers and all our chatters. Peace and love. Peace and love. Please leave a comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and etc., etc., etc. We love you. Peace and love.
Bye.